All right, let's talk about AI in trading, because in 2025, it's not just some buzzword anymore. AI isn't just knocking on Wall Street's door, it's basically tearing down the walls and remodeling the whole place. It's changing the fundamental rules of the game, from how trades get made to who gets rich. So, let's dive in and see how. So, that leads to the big question, right? Can a machine actually outsmart Wall Street? I mean, this is the billion-dollar question that's driving the entire industry. But before we can even try to answer that, we've got to understand the problem AI was built to solve. And honestly, it's a problem of human limits. And here's the bottom line, the fundamental truth of it all. The markets today, they just generate an insane amount of data. Way more than any single human or even a team of humans could ever hope to process. We've just biologically outgrown our ability to keep up. Okay, so let's try and wrap our heads around what this data flood actually looks like. Because we are talking about so much more than just watching stock tickers go up and down. It's a total torrent of information, and it's coming at us from every direction imaginable. You've got the classic stuff, of course, price feeds, order books, the usual suspects. But then you have to layer on top of that thousands of news articles popping up every hour, the crazy chaotic mood swings on social media, and then there's this whole other category they call alternative data. We're talking about satellite images that track oil tankers on the ocean, or even weather patterns to predict how well crops are going to do. I mean, come on, there's just no way a human brain can pull all of that together and make sense of it in real time. So, faced with all that chaos, how do you possibly navigate it? Well, this is exactly where AI comes into the picture. And it doesn't just, manage the data. It has what you could almost call three distinct superpowers that turn all of that noise into signals you can actually use. First up, you have just pure, raw, inhuman speed. We're talking about systems that can scan information and make a move in microseconds. Then number two is pattern detection. This is huge. AI can spot these really subtle relationships and hidden correlations that are just completely invisible to the human eye. And third, and this is maybe the most important, is adaptability. The best AI models aren't just rigid rule followers. They learn, they evolve, right as the market itself is changing. And look, these superpowers, they aren't just some far-off theoretical idea. They are being put to work right now. And they're woven into every single step of the modern trading process. It all kicks off with finding a signal, right? AI models are designed to sift through these absolute mountains of data to try and forecast where price might be headed, whether that's in the next minute, the next hour, or the next day. But here's the thing, the signal isn't always hidden in the numbers. Using something called natural language processing, or NLP, an AI can essentially read all the news, all the social media chatter, and figure out the collective mood of the market. It can literally turn feelings like fear or greed into a cold, hard, quantifiable trading signal. And once that signal is locked in, the AI doesn't just sit around and wait for a human to click a button. Nope, it acts. It automatically executes the trades in a way that's designed to minimize the impact on the market and to nail the absolute perfect moment to buy or sell. But maybe the most critical job AI has is acting like a guardian for your portfolio. It's constantly running stress tests, always asking, what if this happens, or what if that goes wrong, all to control losses and protect your capital before a disaster can strike. And in trading, that is the real name of the game. Okay, but let's be real here. All this power, it is absolutely a double-edged sword. For every single advantage AI brings to the table, there is a very, very real risk. And if you ignore those risks, well, that's just a recipe for disaster. And this right here is the central tension of it all. The promise is perfect predictions, right? But the reality is something called overfitting. That's when a model is so perfectly trained on old data that it just completely falls apart the second the live market does something new. The promise is these clear, logical decisions. But the reality is we often get black box models, where even the people who built them can't tell you why the AI made a certain trade. And maybe the scariest part? The promise of stable markets can turn into a nightmare of systemic risk, especially when you have thousands of AIs all programmed to react the same way at the same time, potentially triggering a flash crash. And yet, even with those huge, serious risks, the financial incentive to get this rate is just too massive to ignore. I mean, just look at Norway's sovereign wealth fund. They're not just playing around with this stuff. They are actively targeting $400 million in savings every single year, just by using AI to make their trading more efficient. That's the kind of scale we're talking about here.
So, what does all this mean for you if you're interested in getting started? It's definitely a challenging world to step into, but the good news is there's a clear path forward. Here's a kind of playbook for your first steps.
The absolute key here is to walk before you try to run. Seriously, start with the basics. Get a handle on data science. Then start experimenting with tools that are pretty accessible, like Python frameworks. And this is non-negotiable. Before you risk a single real dollar, you have to backtest your strategies on historical data. And paper trade. When you do finally go live, start small. And always remember, the market never, ever stops changing, so your models can't either. You have to be continuously monitoring and retraining them. It's essential. And when we look to the future, man, this whole evolution is only picking up speed. We're right on the edge of another massive leap forward, as AI starts to merge with other completely revolutionary technologies. Just think about it for a second. Imagine what happens when you combine AI's incredible ability to find patterns with the sheer raw power of quantum computing. Or picture autonomous AI agents just living in the world of decentralized finance, DeFi, constantly hunting for the best possible yields across dozens of different crypto blockchains, 24/7, without ever sleeping. I mean, this is the new frontier. Ultimately, I think this is what it all boils down to. AI is a profoundly powerful tool, but at the end of the day, it's still just a tool. Simply having access to it, that's not the advantage anymore. The real edge, the thing that's going to separate the winners from the pretenders, is using it responsibly, using it skillfully, and having a really deep understanding of its limitations. And all of this leaves us with one final, and I think pretty critical question for the future. As these AI systems get more and more autonomous, more and more intelligent, where do we, the humans, fit into all this? Are we going to be the architects, the overseers? Or are we just going to be passengers in markets that are being driven by an intelligence that's far beyond our own? The final answer, well, it's still being written.